Okay, I'm going to try to show you this quickly. Okay, I started making some notations on some of the pages this way with little notations in there. That's what I've been doing there. I'm just trying to show you this quickly. Shoot. My feet. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. Okay, so here are the little images, like for devotions, reflect, pray, and my prayer. The one thing that needs to be changed is most of the headings are additional study scriptures. There's a few that are just additional scriptures. So what we normally used, I believe, was the additional scriptures and took out the word study. But since most of these are study, there just needs to be a few that need to be changed. This at the beginning of the page of this section, explaining that, and then as you, if I can find one real quick, yeah, like this one here. Okay. Then, if you go back through, like these, that's there. So most of those are like that. So it wouldn't take as much time to just go ahead and change it to that. But then when you get into like these images, to keep things uniform, and the way they're describing this in here, it would go along with these headings, right? Okay, but when you look at the lessons, first of all, they're not using that then, and I don't know whether this was your decision or whether it was their decision, the publisher, but they're not using those images on each of these headings, like devotion, reflect. This one, they used it on prayer here, which is fine. They didn't use anything on my prayer on this one. But then when you go over here, okay, my prayer, they did use it there. Okay, they didn't use it here. And I don't know if that was intentional. They did use it here, which is fine. Okay, so devotion, they used that, which is fine. Okay, hold on a second. No, okay, didn't use anything here. They use reflect. They use the right one there. Okay. And also, you'll see some of these where they end the page with that, and then some they don't. Okay. Okay, so here's prayer. That's not the right image for prayer. That image goes with my prayer, according to the front of the book, to distinguish the sections. So I would think that's not correct. And look, another thing is, I'll do this quickly. See how these are recap? That's the way it should be. Recap, reflect, pray. Then I'll show you something else as I go through here. Okay, they did prayer right there. Okay. Did that on that page. My prayer. Okay, this is the one that doesn't have any additional scripture, study scriptures on page 54. I don't know if that's intentional or an oversight. Okay. And here they did it again. This is a symbol for my prayer, not prayer. It should be the kneeling guy. Okay, devotion's okay. Okay, there's... Now see, they used the kneeling prayer for my prayer. But according to the page 13 and 14, that goes under prayer. And that other symbol goes under my prayer. So in my eyes, they didn't use that correctly. If they're going to indicate that's what those images are for, I assume that they should put it under the right heading. Okay. Okay, reflect was right. Now here's the end of this, where the others, they had the road with the cross, but on this page, under the additional, at the end of that lesson, they didn't. So that's one of the ones I was talking about there. Okay, now here's another thing. This image wasn't even in the front of the book showing that it goes to anything. It's just a random image, it looks like. And I think this has shown up twice. Sorry, hope this isn't confusing. There's a lot of lineage that's off to keep it uniform. All under all the headings, reflect, prayer, my prayer, I would say should stay, all be the same. And I've got those all marked throughout the book. Okay, here's a devotion, which was right. Trying to just show you. Okay, so I'm going to skip back here. You get an idea of what I'm talking about. Then here's this on day 28. I pointed out the recap, the reflect and pray. Look at the fonts. The fonts are big and they're not bolded. They should be the same size to stay uniformed with the other weeks. Shoot. Day 28, day 21, day 14. And the other thing I forgot to point out. Okay, so on day 7 here. Oops, wrong one. Okay, so see how recap is here? And it should be that way. Then when you go to 14, wow, horse beans. Oh, 14, 12, 15. Okay, look what they did here. It should be recap. Then they added a semicolon. They added this week. And they added all this spacing, which is not the way that the others are. There was like 5 spaces there on the others to keep it uniform. And it's because then they can move this one to that front page because they've got so many lines here that doesn't go along with the rest. They've got all these additional lines here. They did the same thing with day 21, 20. Oh, also, here's this I was talking about. Wrong font, line font. These are the dashes. These aren't the lines. That needs to be fixed. Here we go again. This is another one. That should be taken out so that it, goes along with the others. And then additional lines are in here. They either have too many or not enough to keep it uniform. I don't know how particular you're going to be with that, but to make it look nice, in my opinion, it should be. There's some other consistent errors as far as in the prayers that I marked. Okay. I hope this isn't too long for you. But anyhow, that was in my notes, and that's what I've been doing.